I'm a beekeeper. Paper over there says I'm a master beekeeper. All that means is I passed the test. I got a plaque over there that says I'm a senior Welch honey judge. All that means I passed the test. Okay. And the other things, just honoraries they gave to me. They thought I knew something, so they gave that to me and all. But don't let that get in your way. He said I was an expert. An expert is somebody with a briefcase 25 miles from home. I'm 25 miles from home, but I don't have a briefcase, so I guess I'm not an expert then. Maybe I'll just be a spurt. Anyway, when I was asked to come down here, it's evolved in what we was going to do and wasn't going to do and all like that. And the suggestion was made to do a honey show. Well, not do a whole honey show, but just do a honey part of the show. And then I was asking, do you want to do amber, light amber, dark amber, and go like that and all? And then we finally settled on, since this right here is something new to you, or to the society, maybe not you personally, but to the society, what we do is black jar. Black jar. And what black jar is honey in a black jar. What do I do with it? There's a black jar. What do I do with the other black jar? All right, it's a black jar, and the reason we call it black jar is because you can't see what's in it. Because it is black, and therefore you can't see the contents. Oh, I got the right one. There are two ways we can do this. Got it right here. There's two ways we do black jar. Okay, we take a jar and we put a black cover on it. This is a black sack. What you do is you fill out it's got right here, it's got a H6 was the class, and then your number was 3 right there. That's the number given to you by the secretary. You put that on there, put this here, and you enter it. Other way we do it is you pour it in a black jar. I provide black jars. You pour it in a black jar and put the identification label on the jar itself and turn it in. You don't have to worry about fingerprints. You don't have to worry about hairs. You don't have to worry about worms, squirrels, anything in there. Bee parts, we don't care. Okay. The reason it's called black jar is because it's taste only. Okay, I want to explain that to you. It's taste only. I don't care what's in there. Now, if I taste a rat or something like that, then I might disqualify it. or I might give points off or something like that, okay, if I taste it. But I don't care what's in it as far as caring what's in it. Okay, but as far as you getting a prize for it or something like that, then I'd suggest you not put stuff like that in it. But the point is we don't look at it. We don't care what it looks like or nothing like that. It is taste only. All right, now I want to park it right there with black jar and taste only. And let's go over here and talk about the other classes of honey and taste. All right, we've got light amber, amber, and dark amber. And we taste those, but we do not taste it for taste. We taste it for off taste. So we'll taste it. If it tastes like charcoal, got a problem. If it tastes fermented, we got a refractometer that we can use to see if it's 18.6% moisture content or less. 18.6% or less is good. More get you disqualified. If it tastes like smoke, okay. See, we're not looking for a taste of honey. We're looking for an off taste. And that's where most people get mixed up. Okay. We're looking for an off taste on that. Not that the honey, tastes like honey or this kind of honey or something like that, but an off taste. So in those classes, we're looking for an off taste. In this class only, black jar and black jar only, it is taste only. And not that other stuff. Now, if I taste burn something like that, obviously you're going to have points off. All right? So I want you to understand the difference, because most people don't understand there's a difference in tasting honey and honey tasting. Now, what we're going to do here is black jar. It's very simple, and I didn't want to get very technical with you, so we're not putting in black jars or anything. In the jar you brought, usually we'll tell you the type of container, the size of the container, and every little thing it's got to be, and you got to conform to the rules. You need to read the rules and obey the rules. The judge, he has to obey the rules. The rules are there for me to understand what you are, for the exhibitor to understand what they are, so we'll be on the same page. Okay? So if I read the rules and you don't read the rules and you do something that's not in there, we've got a problem. Okay, so what you need to do is read the rules. All right? Read the rules and see what they say. If they say a queen line jar, you got to use a queen line jar. Say glass, you got to use glass. Say 1 pound, you got to use 1 pound. Okay? Now, here we didn't have all that. Okay, this is very simple. It's a black jar to get you interested in it, to see what can happen when we do enter a tasting. Okay? So the jars are different sizes and all like that. We don't care. Different colors and all, I don't care. I'm not looking at the color or nothing like that when I get in there and start tasting it. All right? Now, usually what we do is we have white gloves that we use because you don't want any fingerprints or anything like that on your jars and all, because that counts off. But in this case, we don't need white gloves. We've got a refractometer and all. And I got a case of stuff that we use here, but all I'm going to use is a spoon. That's going to be my tasting rod for tonight.
Boy, can you show us how the refractometer works?
How long you got? I'm supposed to have a talk after this.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I can. The correct answer is yes, sir, I can.
Because 90% of the people here haven't ever
But
seen
do you want me to? Refractometer is very simple. I'm going to talk about how to make honey in a minute, and I'm going to talk about the refractometer. So let's just leave that sucker out. When I get to talk about,
All right.
we'll get as far in there as you want to go. Now, I've got all night. Here, I'm here on your time. I'll stay here all night and talk to you. There are many things I can talk about. There are 7 things I think I can talk about intelligently. Honeybees is one of them. Honey is another one.
Bee college next month?
South Florida, don't know. It's up in the air. I had a house fire.
I'm so sorry.
And I had a car fire next to my greenhouse. It caught my greenhouse on fire. So that was a separate instance and all like that stuff. So I've got a little problems I'm trying to work out right now. So hopefully yes, but that's not a written in stone yes. All right, so what I'm going to do right now, I don't know if I can use this thing.
This is only for the camera.
I know.
We're having a hard time hearing you back.
I talk with my hands, and this has got my hands tied up. Okay, let's see how this goes for a while. Because I won't put it down, sure as I'm sitting here. All right, so I got to put it down now to open these jars. All right, so the first thing we do as a judge is we get the jars out here, and if it's just one judge or 2 judges or however many judges we do, and we divide it up. Okay, in this instance,
That'd be a good idea.
in turns her on. Wait a minute, I ain't ready. I ain't ready. Yeah, you see her eyes light up. All right, so what we're going to do is we'll open a jar. Open it. All right, now.
Now this has honey on the lid. You'd have been DQ'd.
No, that ain't got nothing to do with it. Let me get around here. I'm going to show it from my standpoint, what I do. All right, that's what I'll do, and I'll open it and put it down like that. All right, and like I said, it's just on taste. I don't care what the jar looks like. I don't care if it's fingerprints on it. I don't care if it's hairs in it or not.
Does it depend on what kind of hairs?
No. I'm not a hair expert, so I don't know. Except now, all beekeepers ought to know they're plumose hairs. Everybody know what a plumose hair is? Y'all know about that because that's what honeybees have is plumose hairs. They don't have straight hairs, they got plumose hairs. And I'll tell you about that in a minute when we talk about pollination. Okay? I've got kindergartners knows that because I told them. All right, so the first thing I do is I'll take it. I don't have to look at it. I don't see how thick or thin or nothing like it is. I'll taste it.
How many honeys can you taste before you can't taste anymore?
You straight without anything in between it. 3 or 4.
Right. And then what clears your palate?
Either water or a cracker or whatever you want, a biscuit.
Do we need some water up here? Do we need some water up here, Roy?
Yes.
No vodka.
That is optional, but I don't think the exhibitor would sort of appreciate that. if you catch my drift. Okay. All right. So I taste that. Now I take this right here and I put it down. Do the next one. All right, I got a feeling for that. All right, the next one, what we'll do is do the exact same thing. Put that down.
Are there different spots that you should put it on your tongue?
Now, yes, absolutely. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to start to. See, I'll put this down here. If I'm on that side, I'll go down there. This is first. That's second so far. Okay, we'll do it like that. Then get another one.
Okay.
Takes a lot of training, don't it? I thought the judge was supposed to go first. She's 2 jars and she's already took over. I'm going to leave that right where it is.
Move the second.
Where shall I put this one?
Anywhere you want to put it, just put it down.
What are you looking for when you taste them?
I'm not looking for anything. I'm tasting for taste. That's a good question. Wait a minute, I'll tell you. That's a great question. Oh.
Wonder who that was.
No, the question was, and I was hoping, I wasn't going to tell you. I'm not here to tell you everything. I'll answer your questions, though, okay? But I was hoping somebody would ask this. What am I looking for, okay, in taste? When you taste, what you want is the perfect honey. Not that I love, well, Tupelo is my favorite. Cadillac honey. It comes up everywhere I am, right? Got Tupelo. I love Tupelo honey, my favorite. Am I going to say Tupelo's the best, everybody is the worst, and that's all I do? No. I've got to keep my prejudices to myself. That's hard for a judge to do, is take his prejudices, and keep them down. But that's what you need to do. You need to taste enough honey, and it's an ongoing process. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. Continue tasting honey till you get the ideal taste for honey. There is a taste that honey tastes like. That's the ideal that you're going for. Okay? And when you taste enough honey, you've got an idea in your mind of exactly what the ideal honey should taste like. Pick it up and say, oh, that's honey. Okay, instead of, it tastes like orange blossom or something. The ideal is what you're looking for is honey, and not a particular, don't use the word flavor, a particular kind of honey. Okay?
How about smoothness or acidicness or?
That all comes in it. That'll all be incorporated in there, especially acidic if you don't get like that. Honey's very acidic if you don't know that. All right, now then, let's try this one.
Motor oil.
Better not be.
And that's got a good flavor to it. It's not honey, but it's got a good flavor to it. I like that honey. It's got a real good flavor, but it's not the honey flavor.
Tastes like licorice.
No, it don't.
Okay, where do you want it?
She hadn't tasted enough honey. She hadn't tasted enough honey. A novice, her first time. Okay, motor oil. Somebody said motor oil. I've got, and I'll talk to you in a minute about light and dark honey, what makes them light, what makes them dark, and all like that. I've got buckwheat honey. Buckwheat honey is the darkest, strongest honey you can get. Okay? And when I tell you about that buckwheat honey in a few minutes, I'm going to talk about motor oil. And if I don't talk about motor oil, you tell me, talk about motor oil. Because I use that a lot for that honey. Here again. You put the honey on your tongue, put it to the roof of your mouth, and rub it on the roof of your mouth. I'm not going to get into all your taste buds in there, what they are and what they do and all that, but you got many taste buds in there, and you're going to get it around all of them. Okay, so that's what you're doing. You're covering your palate with it, and you just sit there and let it settle on your tongue, and see what it tastes like.
You're not breathing it?
Well, now if we're going for amber, light amber, dark amber, and that sort of thing, aroma is in there. Okay, first thing you do when you crack it open, aroma. First thing you do is aroma. Okay, that counts as aroma. We're doing black jar now, it don't count. Okay, I don't care what it smells like. Taste. Okay, but when we do the other, aroma, it does count. And honey aroma.
We're on that page, Roy.
Yeah.
Now you can see this could take a while if you just had one judge.
If there's not more than one judge, do you have one judge go through and kind of rank them first? That's awful.
Don't use that word. You think it, but don't use it. I can think what I want, what I tell you is something different. Now, I want you to enter shows. I don't want you to be discouraged, and I don't want you mad at me. But,
Being careful.
no, but by the same token, PR. That's what it's about, it's PR. Beekeeper. What beekeeping is about is PR, in my opinion. It's PR. You don't look good in front of other people, especially the public. When I get with beekeepers and all like that, I can let my hair down. You know, and talk a little bit about things and all like that. I don't talk about the public, but still, it's PR. You want people to think positive thoughts. And I want you to enter honey shows. I don't care what class it is, enter it. This is the easiest one to enter. It takes virtually no effort. You've got this at home sitting on your counter. Just bring it. Okay? So I don't discourage you, but some of it.
That's why we did this one.
True, that's exactly. That's what it is.
We drink a beer and bring honey.
That's got a terrible taste.
You have the microphone.
Oh. Delete.
You can think it, but don't say it.
Unrung. I said it to myself. Unring a bell.
He's not very impressed with our honey.
I'm not used to this thing. It's killing me. I mean, I can't talk.
It might be the only time he comes to Palm Beach County Beekeepers and does honey tasting.
See a back door?
That's our springtime honey. That's what it tastes like.
Something else. That's not the honey, that's something else. Something the beekeeper did up at you. That was top.
Sierra, which one's your favorite so far?
It's not a favorite now. We don't have favorites. We don't have favorites.
A late entry.
That's why a good judge, quote unquote, in my opinion, okay, needs to constantly tasting honey, constantly judging shows, constantly go around. I judge local, state, and national shows, ABF and EAS, and all, and I do that. I traveled 8,000 miles last year just judging shows. Besides, I did 52 activities with kids and all that. That was over 4,000 miles of travel. But you need to do that to stay up and stay up with it and stay up with it, because you don't use it, you lose it. But once you start getting in there and understand what honey tastes like, what it looks like, what you're looking for, you can pretty much sort of go through here real fast, faster than what I'm going, okay, and get the job done and do a real good job too.
Now, you can do this for other reasons though too, right? Because if you're trying to make a dish. that-
Many other reasons.
If you're trying to make a certain dish, the meal goes better with
How much trouble do you get in if you do that during the show?
I'm handicapped. I'm handicapped. I'm handicapped. See, I'd had my other hand around there.
I wasn't even allowed to put fingerprints on my jars.
Fingerprints don't matter. Fingerprints don't matter.
Otherwise, you'd have gloves on.
Now, on black jar, we don't have gloves. Because we don't need gloves, we're not worried about fingerprints. Okay, besides, it should be in a black jar, so, you know, on the outside, we don't care. Or it should be in that bag, so we only use gloves when we're handling any exhibit, even black jar. If I'm handling black jars and exhibit, bringing it and put it in, I'll use white gloves. Because I got white gloves on anyway, and I'm not going to take them off, you know, just do that. All right. But the judge does not need white gloves for black jar. A judge should, S-H-O-U-L-D, should wear white gloves when he's judging other things. Okay? Okay?
You gotta be careful with this group, Roy.
Well, this is the last.
gloves wouldn't be white.
Let me.
We knew latex was in here.
Oh, really?
Don't use latex gloves because it's got powder on it. Okay, and powder will go to your jar and you'll count off. You look at that and count off that, not realizing what the powder is. I've done that before I figured out what the powder was. Okay, you don't use. My opinion, you should not use cotton gloves because cotton has lint on it and lint will come off. Now, there are some judges that are my proteges. Okay? They say it's all right to use cotton gloves. You think I'm going to argue with them? You think I'm going to tell them they're wrong? No. They taught me what I know, or a lot of what I know, not everything, and all like that. I'm not about to get an argument with them whether that's right or wrong. I feel like that you can get lint off of it. They say it don't make any difference. Okay, so I say no, don't use cotton gloves. Use nylon gloves. Okay? Now, with that said, if you see a judge using cotton gloves, talk to the judge. All right? If he says, don't worry about the lint, or if it's no lint on it, or if he's washed them 1,000,000 times, there's no lint, whatever, you know. I just want you to know that as a point of interest, not to be fussing at everybody about what they do and what they don't do and all like that. Okay, so nylon gloves is what I use and what I recommend. Are we down to,
This is the last one.
you sure?
Yep.
No late entries?
No, we already tasted the late entry.
Oh, didn't meet the requirements?
He buys a lot of raffle tickets, that's the requirement.
Good requirement. Who made that rule? I like them. I think that's ours.
I didn't make it, I just.
No. I shouldn't know that. The only reason I know that is because he come up and he said, look here, it's in the wrong jar. And that's the only one's in the wrong jar, quote unquote.
That came out of a wall in Lake Worth.
Could you taste the asbestos? Or the rat shit?
Is it talking about asbestos and a shingle, SOS?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you retaste anything at this point?
Yes. I've gone through here and I've set them. in sort of the order that I think they ought to be. But I'm going back one more time because there's 2 in there I'm going to look at. Maybe 3, but at least 2. And again, I'd be on the other side doing this. But I just want you to see what it looks like from my side of the table.
You're not allowed to double dip?
Funny thing about double dipping. Honey is nature's most perfect food.
So it doesn't matter.
It does not spoil. It does not spoil bacteria or virus of any kind. We have found honey in the tombs of Egypt still good. So if it don't support germs and all like that, what difference does it make? But from a hygienic standpoint, what have you been told from the time you're about yay high to right now? Don't double dip, don't double dip, don't double dip, don't double. And if you see somebody double dipping, go to the hospital or something like that. I'm serious. It makes no difference. But psychologically, people look at you, sort of funny. And I've actually had a customer say, I don't want that jar. I just dipped out of it.
It's kind of like the astronauts drinking their own pee.
And
Yeah, not like that at all.
I thought
Good try though. You just had to get that one out.
It's double dipping, You eat it out once, you drink it again.
Oh my God.
That's Bear Grylls, not the Astro.
I've seen him drink water out of elephant poop.
You see him drink his own urine out of a dead snake skin?
No.
Sierra, you know what honey tastes like now?
No. Sweet, really sweet. It's a good thing I'm not diabetic.
all right, there's my judging right there. First, second, third. And we didn't place anything else. Normally what we do, in order to, if you're going to spend your time and effort and take the most perfect product that the honeybee makes and try to keep it the most perfect product, either for show or for sale, that's what you're doing here. You're trying to get the most perfect product and keep the most perfect product for show or sale. Show in our case right here in all camp. Your efforts all be rewarded. Okay, and that's why I give silver, back up. That's why when I do shows and I'm in charge of shows, I have silver that I give, okay? A lot of people just give ribbons, all right? With that said, there we'll give first, second, third, then we'll give commendable, highly commendable, and very highly commendable, okay? And that's just to give other awards to reward you for what you've done, taking that most perfect product and made it the best you could make it and all like that. And to encourage you to go on. So we actually give 6 awards. Okay. Here, they want to give 3 awards. And I found out when I got here and walked in the door, there's money involved. Nobody told me that before.
Welcome to Palm Beach.
Okay, and they're only going to give 3 awards, and they're big money awards. Okay, so I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that, okay? And normally, the public does not see what we do, normally. We can do it, have no problem doing it and all like that. But it just takes so much time for me to explain stuff and what we need to do and all like that. But normally, it's done behind closed doors, quote unquote. Okay, then we come out and show it. And then Black Jar, we don't have comment cards. On all the other classes, there are about 22, 23 classes, depends on who's setting up the show. We have comment cards. And I'll make a comment on there. Something about the honey, about the cake, or about the beeswax. I love beeswax. That's the most hardest thing. That's the hardest thing to judge, in my opinion, is beeswax. There are over 300 components of beeswax. Do you know that? That's 300 chances to go wrong. Okay, but what I do is I'll make comments on there. And my comments, I always try to make them and word them so they're constructive. I might want to say it's terrible, but I don't say that. Okay, I want to make it constructive. And there's a lot of times I'll say, please see me, and I'll sign it. Please see me, because I want to explain to you what went wrong here and what you can do better next time, and why you got third place instead of first place, and why you got highly commendable and all like that, or why you didn't get any award. You know, you might have your cake in there that has a dip in it like this. That might be good eating, but it's not good judging. Okay, so I always have try to have comment cards on everything, but black
Can you
jar.
give us your comments on these?
And black jar we don't give comment cards on because
This isn't even traditional.
no, because it's just taste from the honeybee. That's all it is. What can you comment on? Good, bad, or indifferent?
Why does honey darken over time?
Boy, you getting into my talk. I'll make a note of that.
Watch it when you enter these next contests. Because it's different than when it comes out dark originally.
Well, the color and the taste is involved in that. And we can talk about that when I get into it. I've got a note over where to do that. There's several things I made a note of I want to do. All right, and as far as this is concerned, I'd fill out the paperwork. Judges has to fill out cards, paperwork all like that. Send it in to the secretary. Secretary would write it up. Secretaries, we didn't go over the registration. When you come in, what you do is you'll have your exhibits. Normally, and that depends on the show, normally go to the secretary and she'll have a sheet of paper down there with all the exhibits. You take that sheet of paper. If you're going to do class 1, put a 1 out there. That's the number of exhibits you're going to have. Now here again, depending on the rules, you might be able to have more than one exhibit in one class, but we're trying to get rid of that. But read the rules. All right, let's say I go to 6. 6 might be chunk honey. Well, I'm going to enter that. I'm not going to enter this one, and I'll enter it. So you put down all your entries that you're going to enter. Bring that back and give that to the secretary. Secretary will assign you a name, number, or however she does. It's up to her as to how she numbers this and how she fills out what's what. Okay, so she'll do her thing, give you a number and all like that, designated for whatever she's going to give you. Then you take that and you take the ID numbers, identification numbers. She'll give you some exhibits take 1, some takes 2 or 3 or 4. She'll give you the correct number of ID labels. So you take your sheet of paper with your entries, you take those ID labels, you go back to your entries, and you put them on there exactly, and it tells in the rules exactly where you should put them. Centered from the bottom, 1/2 inch. Okay, you go in there and you do that. Once you do that, and you got everything set that you want to exhibit, you bring that up, wipe it off last time, whatever you want to do like that. You give her the paperwork and not judge, what's the other one? Who helps the judges?
Assistant?
No, who?
Steward?
Steward. A steward should take that. And here again, depending on the show, normally a judge should never touch that. Normally a steward, not the manager, not the secretary, but a steward would be there and ask you, is this all you're going to enter? Yes, this is it. All right. Once the steward takes that and puts it over here, you can never touch it again. Once you enter it, it's entered. Okay?
And you don't get it back.
You don't get it back to change until we judge it.
No, even
After judging, we have, we can get it back and all like that. But right now, I'm just telling you how you enter stuff, okay? All right. Now, if there's something weird, strange, something like that, you can talk to them, and you get it back. But technically, you said, this is it. This is what I want. Put it in there. You say, oh, I forgot to screw the top on or something like that. They might let you screw a top on or something. But anyway, you give it to them. And she's got the paperwork filled out, and she knows who you are. But there's a number or a name or alphanumeric or something on, not a name, excuse me. There's something on there to identify you. Like I said, when I had the black jar, where's my black jar? Oh, on this one right here, and I got a bunch of them in there. This is class H6. H6 was black jar, was the class number. And it says exhibitor 2. That's all I see as a judge, 2. I don't know who 2 is, okay? And I shouldn't know. Nobody else should know. The only person should know who it is secretary and the exhibitor, okay? That way I'm not biased in any way. Now, I happen to know that he had that in there. That should not have biased me one way or the other.
Well, look where it ended up. It didn't bias you at all.
No, it didn't bias me at all because that's what it deserved.
I didn't make it. I just stole it.
Now the excuses come out. I was walking down the road and saw it on the side of the road and picked it up. But anyway, that's what a judge sees. And it'll be on a jar too. When we do jars, it'll just be on a jar. And I've got some of them here. Well, you can see, I think I got some purple thistle over here too. No, what I love is Tupelo. Tell you, using one hand's killing me.
Did you bring any carrot, honey?
I got to use my. I have carrot honey.
You brought it
Not with me, no. I've got 45 varieties of honey. I did not bring all 45, but I have carrot honey. And I can tell you a story how that come to be and why. It's very fascinating that if you think about it, it makes sense. But I didn't think about it, and I bet y'all didn't either. Just like peppermint, why it tastes like it does, or why blueberry tastes like it does. You don't think about why it should not like it, and I'll get in that in a minute, I hope, if we have enough time. No. Avocado, blackberry, peppermint. There's peppermint. Star thistle. Don't have any. But anyway, on those jars, and this is normally what you have is a 1 pound jar. That is normally what this is, a 1 pound queen line jar with a 53 millimeter lid, plastic lid. Okay. And I'm not going to tell you about judging and exhibiting, but we can talk about that and what you should use, what you should use, and why you should use it, and all like that. That's normally what we enter shows. It's 1 pound queen line glass. And your label will be centered 1/2 inch from the bottom on that. And all the other, it's described exactly where you put your label and all like that. Okay? So on this over here, we didn't have labels because, like I said, it's not an official show. This is just something for funsies, I hope, and something for you to learn with, be educational for you can learn with it, and something that you can see you can do. You can enter a honey show. Okay? Bring a black jar. You don't do anything else. If you do photography, you can do that. If you do art, you can do that. I got art right here. You can do that. While I'm talking, before I forget it, I'll do that in a minute. I'll introduce my subject with that. And that's what the first thing I'll do is introduce it with that. Okay? But that's basically what we do, why we do, and how we do it. All right. Is there any questions on black jar?
How do you handle multiple judges?
What's your question?
If there's multiple judges, does only one judge do a category, or do you just handle different categories?
What'd you say? What's the first thing you said?
Do you do different categories?
Right. Have one judge do one category. There's a couple categories I want wax. I want wax. I always ask for wax. Everybody, you can have it. Because nobody wants it. So I always ask for wax, okay? But that's what we do. If we have multiple judges, which we should, not only to get more judges in there to get them knowledgeable and all like that, and to keep up with it, but also to make it go faster. There have been judges that have been 12 hours long. Okay? If you go to England, we have our classes, our liquid honey classes are 3 jar entries, 3 identical jars. What word did I say? Identical. You know what identical means? That's what they need to be. Okay, we look at them, they got to be identical. Okay, but it's 3. We've got what we call a commercial class. It's 6. 6 identical. Okay, in England, they've got 24 identical. They got 48 identical. At Appomattox, they've got 24 and 48 identical.
What purpose does that serve?
To see if how good you are. Can you get 3? Can you get 3 identical? Are you so good? Let's see if you can do 6 identical. Oh, you can do that? Let's see if you can do 12 identical. Are you that good?
Oh, you just blend them together and make them all taste the same?
We're not doing taste now. Taste is black jar only. Okay, remember? Remember that, people. The rest of it is off taste. Off taste.
But if you blend and then take all your samples from that same blend.
But it's not taste, though. See, you're looking for other things. There's a lot of things you're looking at besides taste.
But wouldn't it all look the same if it came out of the same bucket?
It don't necessarily have to look the same as far as looking the
Look,
same.
taste, smell the same if it all came out of the same bucket.
It should.
Okay, but it doesn't.
It should.
It
It
doesn't
should.
always?
It don't
It's
always.
hard
It don't
to get
always.
that?
When, in my opinion, a honey judge should enter every class. In my opinion, to be a certified honey judge, you should get first place in about 6 of them. Okay, to show that you're good enough, you know what you're doing all that, because I got first place in this, got first place in all that. Do you want somebody just walks off the street, not to name any names in here? You want somebody walks off the street, go over and judge your exhibits? Or would you like somebody that's knowledgeable about it, has had training about it, has done judging and all like that, has entered the show themselves, that have won awards? Would you rather have somebody like that?
Yeah.
Okay. So they should win awards, okay? And they should be in there. I have won first place in every category, including the 3 show awards, 4 show awards, some of them 3, some of them 4. Show awards and all like that. Okay. I've won first place in every one of them except mead, because I don't do mead.
But have you entered in the mead?
No, I don't do mead.
Never.
I do not do mead. You want me to tell you again?
My kitchen.
No, I judge mead.
Okay, so you drink it?
No.
No, you taste it.
Yes. Then what? No, wait a minute. Then what happens? There's technical difference. That's right. That's right. You can do that. You can do wine that way too.
Yeah. You still get drunk.
Okay. Okay. I think that's enough on the black jar. I think we need to take a break or
No, let's figure out how honey's made.
Carry on.
How do you make honey?
how you make honey. You get your queen bee. It's got some girls with her. And put them out there, and don't just leave them alone. Don't worry about them. They'll take care of themselves. Okay, that's the life of a beekeeper.
Should we announce the winners before we go on?
I don't know the winners.
I do. Should I announce them before we go on?
I don't see why not.
Okay, first place.
I had to use this.
I don't need it. I'm loud mouth. Oh, I gotta hold it way back here. First place, and no, this wasn't rigged. You saw we had everything numbered up. First place was Kevin Easton, our puncher. You know what you're doing, Kevin.
Where'd you buy that honey at?
He bought it from Roy. Second place is Karen Ross. And third place, our late entry is Lee. So 150, 75, or $25 going out to our winners of our contest.
Got your entry fee back.
Thank you, Lloyd. Yeah, thank you.
Don't thank me. Thank the honeybee.
Amen.
Yeah. Take care of your girls. Always remember, take care of your girls. Okay, carrying on. We're going to switch gears now, and we're going to start having fun. Okay? This, to me, is the best part of the program. Because I think I've got a fault. Okay? I think that you ought to know as much about bees and beekeeping and honey as I do. I think that you should put as much time in bees, beekeeping, and honey as I do. I think that you ought to go to places all the time, no excuses, okay, and do like I do. And when you don't, I don't see why not. I'm serious. Why can't you do it now? And that's really something that I need to get over, but I'm not. Okay. You'll ask a question, and I'm up here, and I'm thinking, you dumb beekeeper, you ought to know that. Okay, and it just, it frustrates me because basic things I think you ought to know. And I understand you don't, okay? There's another side of this, okay? I understand you don't. I understand why you don't know, and I understand why you're not interested in all like that like I am. It's just I've got this thing I think everybody ought to be as involved and love it and do it as much as I do, okay? It's just something with me. So with that said, you're going to have to overlook maybe some of the things that I think and say, because I think you ought to be smarter than me and know more than me and be more involved with me and want to go out. He was asking for people to go out and do a demonstration. That is, you ought to do it. Every beekeeper ought to do it. I consider that a privilege to go out there, to go to the fair. I go to the Florida State Fair in Tampa. Okay, I think that's a privilege to go out and tell the public about honeybees, to go tell kids about honeybees. I consider that a privilege for me to do that. They'll learn, but I learn a lot of stuff from that. And talking with other beekeepers while we're there, I learn a lot and all like it. And you will too. It'll make you a better beekeeper if you go out and do that. I guarantee you it will. Okay, with that said, let's get on with the program. Don't have a caption for this program. It's going to be a companion of several that I've given and all like that. And I'm going to play it by ear. And we're going to do what you want to do. Okay? I've got some ideas of what I want to do and all like that. But if you want to chase a rabbit down this trail, we'll chase a rabbit down that trail. Okay? All right. With that said, who can tell me, raise your hand, who can tell me what is the oldest form of art in the world? Somebody here ought to know that. All right, there's one that knows. There's two that knows. Anybody else? What is it? Cave printing. Everybody agree with that? Cave printing is the oldest oldest form of art in the world. Okay, that's not what I'm interested in. What's the second oldest? She knows. Anybody else? Anybody else know? The second oldest art form in the world is what? Wait a minute. Is what?
Honey judge.
Art form.
It's an art form.
Beekeeping.
No. Beekeeping is a science and an art. Science and an art.
You're talking about the beekeeping drawings?
No, what's the oldest? What is it? What's that called? What's that called?
Etching.
No.
Hieroglyphics?
Encaustic painting is what it is. You know what encaustic painting is? Painting with beeswax. That's the second oldest art form in the world. Painting with beeswax. For 3 centuries, the Greeks, the Romans, and the Egyptians, that's what they used. They even painted their ships and stuff with that. You look on the tombs, they painted all that with beeswax. Beeswax, okay? The second oldest art form in the world. It's coming back now. It fell out of vogue when we got other forms, other medium and all. It fell out of vogue. But now it's coming back. A gentleman in England brought it back about 10 years ago. And I got involved in it. It's called encaustic painting is the highfalutin name for it. But it's painting with beeswax. Every beekeeper should know that. My opinion again.
Can you spell that? Can you spell that? Encaustic?
Encastic. Okay, and this right here is something that my wife's done and I've done. It's this right here. It's very easy to do. You can come up here and look at it when you get time and all. And if I wanted to make money, I could sell these. I don't sell them. I sold one and gave away, I think, 2. Maybe I give away 3. And I sold 1. But I don't do it to sell. As a matter of fact, if you look on there, you see I haven't even signed them. I don't do it to sell. I do it for the fun of it. To me, that's relaxation. I love to do that. I'd like to do a lot more. But I could sell every one of those I make. Every single. I have people begging me for that. So if that's something you'd like to do, and you like to make money, you can do that. But do it for the fun of it. But as a beekeeper, you should know what that is and be able to tell other people. You see how bees affect the world? Even before you were born.
Boy, how do you make the different colors?
We use pure beeswax, and then there are 46 pigments, 46 colors,
Basic colors.
46 of pigments that we use to make the different colors with. There are 46 basic. Of course, you can combine several of those to make different ones, but there are 46 basic colors that we use for that. And we can talk about that later if you want to talk about that. Okay, now then, like I said, let's have fun. Let's have fun. Art, I had art there. I took care of art. All right, we got varietal honey. Varietal honey. Who can tell me what a definition of varietal honey is? Varietal honey. Anybody have a definition?
Honey that comes from a particular plant, one plant.
Close, very close, very close. He's in the ballpark. Anybody else?
Can you spell the word?
What?
Varietal.
Varietal,
Reliable.
a variety, varietal. I'm from the South, you have to excuse me. All right, anybody else? Anybody else? Ain't that the truth? Varietal honey. Varietal honey is simply what he was talking about. Honey from one floral source. Okay? Unifloral honey. Varietal honey. Okay? Honey from one source. All right? How do we make varietal honey? As you see here, I got different honeys. I got 45. I don't have them all right here. I got a bunch of them that I don't even have out. Acacia and stuff like that I don't have out. But you see they're different colors. Okay? How do we get varietal honey? Well, you have orange trees down here. And if you want orange blossom honey, which I'm from the Panhandle, and we don't have orange trees, but I got orange blossom honey. If I want orange blossom honey, Bert Kelly used to be the treasurer of Florida State Beekeeping Association. He lives in Lakeland, Florida. If I take my bees down to Bert Kelly, guess what I can get? Orange blossom honey. Take your bee to where the honey is that you want. I live in the Panhandle. We have cotton up there. Y'all don't know we have cotton up there. We have acres and acres of cotton. If I want cotton honey, which I have cotton honey, take my bees, J. Florida, to the cotton field. We got a cotton field out there. When my girls come out, I'll say, you got your choice, cotton, cotton, or cotton. She'll say, yes, sir, and take off. Next one comes out, I say, you got your choice, cotton, cotton, cotton. She'll say, I got them trained. You got, work with them a while, train them, okay? And they'll go get cotton honey, okay? That's how I get varietal honey. The only thing out there is orange grove, okay? Purple thistle. All you see out there in the pasture is nothing but purple thistle. And that's what you get. That's how you make varietal honey. Now, technically how you physically do it, I'm not going to get into that right now because it's going to take up too much time. I want to move on to something else. But let's talk about the basics. The different colors, the real light, and where's the buckwheat, and the real dark. Okay. Why is it light? Why is it dark? What makes it that way? Why do every one of those taste different? And every one does taste different. I got 45 and I'm working on more varieties. They all taste different. Why? Why? Well, think about this. When the worker goes to a flower, she gets the nectar, brings the nectar back, and we'll talk about making honey in a minute. But she'll bring it back and they'll make honey, okay? All right, if I have 3 plants. 1, 2, 3. 3 different plants, 3 different nectars, 3 different colors, 3 different tastes. The nectar determines the taste and the color. Okay, different plants, different nectar, different taste, different color. The nectar determines the color and the taste. Now, if we don't have unifloral, we've got more than one floral variety in there, we call that wildflower. And every beekeeper's got wildflower. If it's 2 or more varieties, it's called wildflower. I have seen online, and Day up here, what's his name? Jerry. Jerry says he's got palmetto palm and he's got gallberry mixed together. That's what he says and that's what he sells. Okay, he can do that. Technically, that is a wildflower honey. Okay, 2 or more is wildflower. If you don't know what it is, it's wildflower. Okay. When I go to the Bromeliad Society, we have an auction up there, and I'm an auctioneer. And when I have a plant up here that don't have a name on it, we got a plant right here, Nonami. Nonami. What am I offered for it? Need opening bid. Who'll give me $1? Nonami. Nonami. You know what Nonami means? Nonami. Okay. Same thing when you do wildflower. Nonami. It's wildflower. It's wildflower. Okay. So it's wildflower. The rest of it would be a varietal honey or a unifloral honey. I was at EAS about 2 years ago. I think they was, anyway, it makes no difference where they were. I was up there. It wasn't a speaker. But I was up there, and I always have honey with me. Everywhere I go, I have honey. Because I do so many programs every year, I just keep it in the car. It's no use taking it out and having to put it back in, take it out and put it back in. I just keep honey in the car. I went to the barber shop the other day. Another barber was sitting there and said, Roy, you got honey? I said, yeah. He said, well, you know, because they know I do it. That's something else. I take a beehive at the weekend before school starts. I take a beehive to my barber shop. And guess who's there? Week before school starts. All year long, they're going to be asking Mike, where's them bees? Where's them bees? All year long at one time. Something else I do. Anyway, a lot of things you can do to get them interested. Where was I? Lost my train of thought. Varietal honey, okay. All right. So, the nectar determines the color and the taste. Everybody understand that? Good.
So why can honey change color over time?
All right. We'll talk about that. Let's talk about processed honey. And we'll get into it. Okay, let's talk about processed honey. I'll have honey up here. Now I'll have people I'll be at a fair or a festival, something like that. They say, you got any honey? I'm looking at you, like this. I say, duh. Now that's to myself. I'm sitting there, duh. So I'll be sitting around, you have any honey? And I've learned over time, now I've been doing this for years, I've learned over time, not to give them the eye or something like that. I'll say, what variety would you like? Not what kind, what variety would you like? And they'll say, oh, regular kind. or the kind I always get, regular honey. Most of them, about 80% say regular honey, regular honey. No such thing as regular honey. And it tickles me to death when they say that, because I got them now. Regular honey, I got them. They're going to taste every one of them, if not most of them, before I'm through with them, okay? So to show them, to educate them. They'll say, what's your favorite honey? My palate's different than your palate. I got a friend of mine that helps me sometimes. He'll say, you like liver and onions? They'll say, no, I love liver and onions, man. I love that. My palate loves liver and onions. Yours don't love liver and onions? What's the matter with your palate? See, the palate is different. I've had a man and wife up there tasting something. She'll hate it. I mean, he'll love it. He'll buy a jar for him, and she'll buy a jar for her for something else. I've seen that happen many a time. Your palate's different. And they'll always ask me, what's your favorite? Well, I used to try to explain that to them. That's like talking to a box of rocks, okay? So I don't try to explain that to them. I'll say, let you tell me the difference. And I'll whip it out there, and start letting them taste it. Yes, sir.
Would a different judge with a different palate end up with a different result?
10-4. 10-4. That's why the experience of the judge matters. If he or she has only tasted one variety of honey, and not the rest of them, going to be limited in what she can do. Okay? That's why you need an experienced judge, in my opinion. It's where you've been out there and done that and keep doing it, and get that expertise in there. But yes, all judges are not created equal. And they never will be, because we're human beings and we have faults. Okay? So, they'll ask me, you have regular honey? And you can read people. When they come up and talk to you, you can read people. First of all, I've had a couple that's fooled me. I've only had one that really got mad at me. I hate that when they get mad at me because, I'm all PR. And I had to apologize to her, and I don't apologize to nobody. I'm serious. I want to be right the first time. I don't have to apologize. I'm serious about that. That's another one of my faults. I hate to be wrong. I'm serious. I am dead serious. I hate to be it. There's two things you ought to know about as a beekeeper right here. And he stumbled into it. There's two things you ought to know as a beekeeper, in my opinion. All flowering plants have pollen. Only about 60% of flowering plants has nectar. So we have nectar plants, and we have pollen plants, and we have pollen and nectar plants. If you got azaleas, you ain't going to get no honey out of azaleas. You might get some pollen. You get pollen out of pine trees. Do you know that?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Does a pine tree have nectar?
No.
Okay.
Got bee glue.
Propolis is a different story. Okay. But remember now, there's pollen plants, nectar plants, and nectar and pollen plants. Excuse me, back up. That's not right. There are pollen plants, nectar and pollen plants. There are no nectar plants only, because a flowering plant must have epistles and stamens. So it's got to have pollen for a flowering plant, angiosperm. Okay? Let's talk about botany. Everybody want to talk about botany? Let's talk about botany.
But acacia trees will make honey.
Yes, I got acacia honey here somewhere. I got some if you want to taste it. Oh yes, it makes a light, good honey, and people in Ohio, Indiana, all like that will fight you over that stuff. Oh, we got the best honey in the world, and that's what it is, acacia. And black locust is another one they're proud of. I've got a refractometer right here. If anybody wants to know how a refractometer works, I can show you how it works. It's very simple. But all it does is tell me the percentage of moisture in honey. And you as a beekeeper need to know this. Now, do you need to run out and buy you a laboratory instrument? No. Because usually if it's capped over, they know what they're doing. They've got the refractometer. What you should do, or what you should know about that, is when you have a frame of capped wax, make sure it's capped at least 90%. 100% would be great. But at least 90%, because the less cappings you have, the more unripened honey you have, the more chance you're going to have that it's going to ferment. Okay? Now, it's your bees, your honey, you can do what you want to. But I don't want the public to get fermented honey. That is the beekeeper's fault. Okay? And I suggest, I can't tell you what to do, I suggest, you get at least 90%. Or if you don't have many frames, just uncap those over there and get those out and not that. That's hard to do. Okay? Or just leave it in there and let them cap it all over. But for the average beekeeper, for the backyard beekeeper, I don't use the word hobbyist. About 8 years ago, we was up at at Tallahassee was trying to do something with bees. I forget what it was at that time. And we used the word hobbyist. The Speaker of the House at that time told me, he said, I ain't giving a hobbyist a cent. He said, if I gave your hobby any money, said my constituents would be on me wanting money, or they'd be on me wanting to know why I'm giving your hobby money. Think about that. Wouldn't you, if you knew something that they was giving your money away as a hobby? I'd be on them. I guarantee you I'd be on them. So we don't have hobby beekeepers. Backyard beekeepers, sideliners, however you want to call it. Okay? So I try not to use the word hobby beekeepers. But for the average beekeeper, the backyard beekeeper, and all like that.
It come from IRS, didn't it?
All you need, no.
They, back when I did it, they said that if after you got so many years, you gotta make a profit, otherwise you're a hobbyist. That's what the tax man told me. I mean, maybe he's full of it.
That's just a term he used. That's not in the books, in the laws. It's not in the books. This right here, like I said, I could show you how it works and what it does and all like that if you're interested in doing that. It's very simple, but for your purposes, I don't think you need one. Now, if you've got a drum of honey or something like that, or especially if you're selling a drum of honey, then it's going to be tested either by you or by whoever you're selling to and all like that. They'll test it. We did processed honey. We did filtering, all like that. Trivia. I'll talk trivia later. When I go to schools, I want the kids to remember pollination. I want them to remember everything, obviously, that's not going to happen. But I want them to remember pollination. And let me tell you some of the ways that I've come up with getting for them to remember pollination. Now, I've got cotton honey right here. What I'll do is I'll have a stalk of cotton, and I'll hold it up. And I'll say, what is this? And they'll say it's cotton honey. I don't care if I'm talking to kindergartens or if I'm talking to high schoolers. They know that it's cotton. That floored me to begin with. Everybody knows that. The next question is, what do you do with it? And they'll say, you make clothes. I don't care what grade they're in. They know you make clothes. And that floored me, that everybody knows you make clothes. I've got used to it now. That floored me, okay, because everybody knew that. And they were taught that, and they learned that, okay, make clothes. So what I do at that point, I'll say you make clothes out of cotton, and I've got cotton honey. My hat's made out of cotton. My shirt's made out of cotton. My pants are made out of cotton. My underwear is made out of cotton, and they'll just giggle because I said underwear. And my socks are made out of cotton. And I'll get down here and I'll say, without the honeybee, we'd all be sitting around here naked. And they'll just giggle. I'll say, even your teacher will go, ooh, can you imagine your teacher naked? Ah, whether it's a man or a woman. You know, you be naked, ah. You know, make a big deal out of it and all that. Well, they can remember that. They can remember without the honeybee, you'd be naked. And think about it, everybody sitting here would be naked if it wasn't for the honeybee. Right? Now, the caveat to that, most of them don't take that second step and think about that. They think you're going to be naked, period. They don't know what wool is or synthetics or nothing, you know. I'm naked the rest of my life, you know, all like that. And don't think about it. Once in a while you get one, you know, think about stuff like that. But think about that. You would be naked without the honeybee. See how important the honeybee is? Okay, another thing I try to do, a third of the food you have, you wouldn't have without the honeybee. And I've got vegetables there, you know, I'll hold up and all like that. Who likes this, that, and other, watermelons, cantaloupe, and all like that. And I'll tell them, well, without the honeybee, you wouldn't have that, about a third. Then I hold up a sack that says Whataburger or McDonald's, whatever, half the time. I'll say, let's get some real food. And I'll say, where do you get real food? If it's Whataburger, they'll say Whataburger or Burger King or whatever. And I'll say, where do you get it, Burger King? And they'll say, you know, burger, whatever, and all like that. And I'll reach down and bring out a hamburger, artificial, of course. Bring out a hamburger. I'll say, you get a burger at Burger King. I said, it makes sense to me. Okay? And then I'll open it up. I got one you can take apart. And it's got everything in it, even cheese. I said, let's make it all the way. I got an all-the-way burger right here. You can put cheese in it and all like that. And I put the top back on it. I said, if we take away everything that the honeybee is responsible for, what will we have left? And you can play with this a while. All right, I've heard 2 correct answers. Okay. But I'm not going to give them credit for the right answer because I want them to tell me why. If they can't tell me why, they won't get credit. When I went to school and we did math, I had to show my work. And if I showed my work, I got credit. If I didn't show my work, I didn't get credit. So you can guess or something like that, and get it. But I'm not going to give you credit till it's right. Who said bread? Two of you. Said bread. Why?
Wind pollinated.
There you go. He answered for you. Bread or wheat, yes you do. Wheat.
It's like corn.
Wheat is wind. It is. That's true. That's why pollen from corn is not good for honeybees. Too fine because it's wind pollen. But
Because it's been modified.
well, let's don't talk. We ain't talking about GMO. GMO is another story. Organic is another. That's another thing you asked me. Is organic. I got organic honey. That's we can get in a can of worms with organic honey.
But is it orgasmic?
No, negative. No, no. The drones don't use it.
Are you with me? Can you remember that?
You're not going to forget us anytime soon, are you?
When I walked in the door and it said money's involved in judging, I wouldn't forget you for that. Okay, and talk about organic stuff like that, that's just a can of worms you don't get into.
Roy, I was explaining to a lady in the bank yesterday, I said, what happened is when civilization comes along and urban sprawl, it takes away the native flora and fauna. And each plant has a host and it has a parasite, among other things, and all those are natural pollinators. But when you clear the land, none of that's left. So that makes you even more dependent on the honeybee because that's the only thing that's left to take care of all the little itty bitty bugs,
Well, that's one of the things they think's going on with CCD. Just one of the things. Yes. And not leaving anything in your rows and all, at your inrows. Okay. What was he talking about?
What is how the weed?
Oh yeah, the hamburger. No, I didn't finish the hamburger. All right. Don't think you'd have a bun burger left because the wheat is wind pollinated. Now somebody said something, I'll unscrew it. Somebody said something about meat. What's a honeybee got to do with meat? And I'll say, where does the meat come from? And you can play with that a while, no, I can't. And you'll finally get, usually a teacher will say, from the cow. I'll say from the moo-moo. I want them to remember, okay, if you say meat, or a cow, so it's a cow. But a moo-moo, an adult saying moo-moo. So I'll say it comes from the moo-moo. What do moo-moos eat? And they'll all say grass, and that's it. I'll say, I've got alfalfa honey right here, which I do. Moo-moos eat hay, grass, and alfalfa. Okay? Who pollinates the hay, grass, and alfalfa? The honeybee. Your tummy loves a hamburger. Your tummy knows about the honeybee. It wouldn't have a hamburger. Take care of the honeybee, or you'd be very disappointed, and you wouldn't make your tummy happy. Okay? So without the honeybee, you would not have a hamburger. Now they can remember that. Now I tell them, go home and tell the parents that without the honeybee, you'd be naked and wouldn't have a hamburger. and see how that goes over. All right, now then I'll go over here and I'll get ice cream. I'll say, let's have dessert. Pull up an ice cream cone. And I'll say, ice cream, you scream, everybody scream for ice cream. Who likes ice cream? And of course, they'll have a fit and all like that. What's the main ingredient of ice cream? And here again, you can play with this a while. And I found a class the other day, first class I ever had, didn't even know, didn't have a clue. First class I ever had that didn't have a clue, but they didn't. And the teacher, I wasn't going to do it, the teacher went ahead and helped them out with it. What's the main ingredient of ice cream? Milk. Where does milk come from? And they'll say cows, I'll say no, moo-moos. Comes from moo-moos. What do moo-moos eat? Hay, grass, and alfalfa. Who pollinates the hay, grass, and alfalfa? The honeybee. Your tummy loves an ice cream cone. And your tummy knows without the honeybee it wouldn't have an ice cream cone. You want to keep your tummy happy, don't you? Take care of the honeybee. The honeybee is in your ecology. Now here's something that adults don't even, now here again I'm talking to kids. Here's something that adults don't even think about. What about Bambi? What about the wildlife? What about your squirrels and chipmunks and all like that? What about the fruits, nuts, and berries they eat? Where does it come from? Who pollinates it? Honeybees in your ecology. not only in your county, in your city, not only in your state, not only in the United States, but worldwide. Honeybee is in your ecology. Okay? And I hope they learn that. Oh, here's one you can cross with yours and see what we get. Mine gets a lot of honey. All right, let me go to the trivia question. I got a couple of trivia questions. I love trivia questions, especially with kids. And here again, you got a 50-50 shot, but I'm not going to give them credit unless they tell me why. I'm a why kind of guy. Trivia question. Well, first of all, you know the queen's the egg-laying machine. She'll lay between 1,500 and 1,800 eggs a day and night. Okay, she'll lay that day and night. The reason honeybees, do you know the reason honeybees work in the dark? Does anybody know the reason they work in the dark?
They can't afford the electricity?
Close. Honeybees don't have money, so they can't put up a deposit for Gulf Power to turn the electricity on, so they work in the dark. Makes sense to me. Makes sense to them. They don't ever challenge me. Okay. Yeah, they don't challenge me. I'll tell them, don't think the boy bees don't do any work. He'll sit on the couch, turn on television, and watch it, and they don't catch it. I've had about 2 out of maybe 500 that'll catch, they got electricity with the television. But I'll say, you watch this television all like that and takes life easy. And tell them about the bees when she comes out, when she hatches out. She don't hatch, yes, she does. When she emerges, I get that mixed up. The egg hatches, then she emerges. She don't hatch out here, she emerges. She eats that cap off, wax cap off, and she emerges. When she emerges, what's her first job? What's the first thing she does? Nope. She goes to the refrigerator and gets something to eat. They don't catch that either, it's electricity. But she does. She goes to the refrigerator and gets something to eat. Then she comes back and she's a nurse bee. That's her first duty. Okay, there's a lot of little things like this you can tell kids. All right, trivia question. And I don't think anybody from that side of the room should say anything because I know y'all know. The rest of you I'm not that familiar with. All right, do honeybees sleep? How many say yes? 2, 3. 3 say yes. How many say no, everybody else? How many say no? 1, 2 no. 1, 2, 3. 4 no and 3, 5 yes.
We're not allowed to
And,
vote.
and he voted. What about the rest of you? You ain't got an opinion? It's a 50-50 shot. No, because you want to explain why. Remember, I want to say why, and you want to know why. Okay. The correct answer is no, they do not sleep. But I'm not going to give you credit for it until you tell me why. All right, who said no? Tell me why. That's right. That's exactly right. They do not have eyelids. Therefore, they can't close their eyes. Therefore, they cannot sleep. There are fish that don't have eyelids. And you can play with that for a while, too, with kids. But no eyelids. Everybody understand that? Don't have eyelids, so they don't sleep. If they don't sleep and they work all the time, they got to rest sometime or another. What do? If you watch a bee, I'm talking about she right now. Okay, watch her. She'll stop and rest. And I've had kids come, oh, she's dead. She's dead. I said, watch her. And in a minute she'll take off. They rest. They'll stop and rest, but they don't sleep. They work 24/7. All right. Here, this. 1 pound of honey. This is 1 pound of honey. Okay? 1 pound of honey. This is something I believe you ought to know and you ought to be able to tell everybody else. Okay? 1 pound of honey. How many bees? Negative. How many flowers do honeybees have to visit to make 1 pound of honey? 2 million. Bees must visit over 2 million flowers. There's a book on it. Over 2 million flowers and fly the equivalent of 2.5 times around the world. and you think honey's expensive. Yeah, wow. The worker bee in her lifetime will make 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey.
So if you calculate that out, it's 288 bees to make 1 pound.
1 pound? Oh, it's more than that. For 1 pound?
1 pound.
No, it's more than 288.
12 teaspoons.
12 to a teaspoon.
A 1/12 of a teaspoon's one.
What's that? Yo,
They make
12
1/12.
bees make 1
True,
teaspoon.
true.
And then how many teaspoons?
Yeah.
Per pound of honey. And it comes out to be 288 because I did the math once.
5 mLs in a teaspoon.
That depends on how big your spoon is.
Teaspoon. Okay, okay. All right. GPS. Let's talk about GPS a minute. GPS. The honeybee had GPS before we did. You know that? The honeybee has always had GPS. Did you know that? The honeybee will come out of the hive. She'll come out of her hive. She'll orient. What does she orient to? The sun. The sun is her satellite. She'll orient to the satellite. She'll take off and go do her things. She'll go do her thing and come back through the angle of the sun and know right where she is. GPS. Okay? Now, let's go back to school, high school. Let's go back to school. There are 3 kinds of light given off by the sun. There's light rays, heat rays, and actinic rays. And I've had teachers that didn't even know what actinic rays were. And they're supposed to be teaching the kids. All right, those are 3 kinds of rays that's given off by the sun. One you can see and can't feel, one you can feel and can't see, and one you can't see nor feel. Okay? All right, the honeybee, when she comes out, she orients to her GPS, okay? All right. What happened when her satellite's down? What happens when her satellite's down?
You mean behind a cloud. There's one.
No, when her satellite's down, what does she do? When her satellite's down, her sun's a satellite and it's down. It's called night. Satellite's down, you got night, right? What does she do? She parks it right there. Her satellite's gone. She don't have GPS. How can she find her way? She parks it right there. So if she's late coming back, she's going to lose her satellite. If she loses her satellite, that's right. Now, what if it's daytime? What if it's daytime and it's cloudy? All right. Let me ask you another trivia question. How many eyes does a honeybee have?
5.
How many eyes does honeybee have? Peanut gallery's over there answering. How many eyes does a honeybee have? They have 5 eyes. They've got two great big compound eyes. For the worker bee, I'm only talking about a worker bee now, she'll have between 4,000 and 5,000 lenses in her compound eye. Each has a retina. Like a grasshopper or a roach or something. Okay. Now that's what she uses when she does her GPS. But what if it's cloudy? Or what if it's raining? She's got 3 right here in a triangle. She's got 3 simple eyes, 1 retina to each eye. 3 right there, just like you. You got 1 retina to each eye. 3 right there. It's called the ocelli. There's no other name for it. It's ocelli. Okay, don't worry about the ocelli. That's what it is. Okay, those 3 eyes right there, they're simple eyes. So since you've got different rays coming off of the sun, guess what? Your simple eyes can see what your compound eyes don't, and they still got GPS when the sun is out. But when you lose your satellite and it's dark, GPS just went off.
Which eye zeroes in to sting
That's
you?
why when you move over your bees, you better leave the hive behind to catch the field bees.
Yep.
Big thing.
And I'll throw this in. If you're working at night with bees, use a red light. Use a red light. They can't see that. They can't see that angstrom, that level of the light spectrum. So use red. And what you do is just get your red and put it over your flashlight and use flashlight, and they'll never see you. And you can work with them at night. And you won't get stung. Any questions about anything I've been over?
I have a trivia question to ask you.
Sure.
I heard that there is a honey that is available that goes not only through honeybees but through aphids as well. It's like a double digestion.
It's when the aphid makes the honeydew and bees are
Yeah.
using it as a nectar source.
Yeah. The honeydew from the aphids is what they'll get. It's the honeydew itself.
Does it taste different?
Yeah, could you repeat your question, because I couldn't hear.
Aphids eat oaks. Oaks are known for their nectar source. So we're getting other plant saps.
Is there any questions about anything we've gone over so far?
Is honeydew honey?
Negative. Is honey without pollen honey?
Without pollen, it's not honey.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I was wondering more with your GPS and that, I mean, everybody that's made splits at one time or another has swapped bees to try to get more field bees into a hive, 2 feet or 2 miles, something like that. Could you touch on that, or you?
Well, if you do it 2 miles away, they're gonna come back to that same spot,
Yeah.
right here. And if you don't have something for them to live in, they'll just fly around right there and they'll dissipate. That's why you need to put, if you're gonna do splits, you don't have one of your split, whichever one you're gonna do, here, and take the other one away.
With all the varieties that you have of honey, is there a particular one that might crystallize compared to everything else?
That might crystallize. All honey crystallizes except Tupelo. Does not crystallize. The rest do. Sage takes a long time. And a sourwood, I've got sourwood here. Sourwood might take a year or two to crystallize, but it will crystallize. But most people have consumed it by that time, and they'll argue with you that it don't crystallize, but it does. Let me tell you about Cadillac of honeys. Somebody said this wasn't Cadillac honeys. Let me tell you why. Tupelo honey is the Cadillac of honeys. Tupelo honey, yes.
I hear they're real protective of their Tupelo areas up there.
Very.
Secret spots.
Can diabetics eat Tupelo honey?
If you have hypoglycemic, this will not spike your blood sugar. I am not a doctor. I do not prescribe medicine. And if you want to know about that, you talk to your doctor. But 99% of all doctors don't know a thing about honey.
Roy, could you tell them the quickest way to decrystallize honey? Or the easiest way?
Easy, yeah, it's easy. Let me tell you why honey crystallizes. You need to know why. I'm a why kind of guy, remember? Supersaturated sugar, all right? Through a chemical process, a natural chemical process, large crystals of sugar will percolate out. It'll turn from a liquid to a solid. Now, I've got some up if you want to see them. It go from a liquid to a solid. The longer you leave it, the more it'll do it. The longer you leave it, the more it'll do it, and you get the whole thing crystallized, okay? If I've got water and I want ice, too close. If I've got water and I want ice, all I got to do is freeze it, right? Still have H2O, don't I? If I want water back, what do? Heat it. I still get water, don't I? If you've got crystallized honey, heat it up, it'll liquefy, you still got honey. It does not detract from it, it does not take away from it, it does not change it in any way. All you're doing is changing states from a liquid to a solid, from a solid to a liquid. Do not heat over 140 degrees. Now, it's your honey, you can do what you want to, okay? I suggest you do not do it over 140 because you start killing your enzymes at 140. I suggest further that 120 should be your very maximum. I suggest even further that 110, because you can get 110 in a beehive. 110. Now, do you need a thermometer and go up there and check it every time? No, you don't. I'm giving you this just for your information so you'll know that things can happen through heat to honey. Okay, you don't have to have a thermometer to see exactly that. Yes.
Why is it that you can't refrigerate honey?
You can refrigerate honey, but you shouldn't refrigerate honey. The reason why you shouldn't refrigerate honey is because it'll make it crystallize faster. All right. At 57, 59 degrees is the optimum temperature to crystallize honey. And that's your refrigerator. And what happens, it'll crystallize faster. Okay, now where's my Tupelo? Tupelo honey is Cadillac of honey. Tupelo honey comes from Tupelo tree. Tupelo, Nisio Geechee. That's something we didn't talk about is botany. You need to know a little bit about flowers. And what's blooming, what time of year it's blooming, what's in bloom now, what's going to be in bloom when it is, where your bees are going, what they're getting, varietal honey and all like that. But you need to know a little bit about botany. You don't have to know that Trichoglottis philippinensis variety brachyata, what that is. It happens to be an orchid. You don't have to know that Apis mellifera ligustica, you don't have to know what that is. That's your honeybee. All right. But you need to know a little bit about flowers. Okay, you don't have to know the species and genus and nothing like that, but you need to know a little bit about flowers. This Tupelo honey is Nisio Geechee. It means nothing to you, and that's fine. Okay? But that's what it is. It's not Nisi sylvestrica, and it's not Nisi aquatica. That's two other Tupelo trees, okay? All right, now, Tupelo honey is Cadillac honey. It comes from Tupelo tree, Nisio Geechee. The Tupelo tree. Tupelo tree grows in swamps. There's only one place in the world you can get certified Tupelo honey. Appalachian River Basin, Chipola River Basin, Weehawken, Florida. We take our, right up at the Panhandle where I am. We take our bees, put them on boats, take them out in the swamps, put them on stilts. We get the honey 3 weeks out of the year. We ship it all over the world. It's world renowned. It does not crystallize. We never meet the demand. People will fight you over what's the best honey in the world or not. Now, there's a secret that us beekeepers that gets Tupelo honey knows, and I'll tell you if you don't tell nobody. Okay? Honeybee makes honey. Honey is made by the honeybee, right? Tupelo honey is made by the honeybee and angels. It is heavenly ambrosia to your taste buds. And at this point, I always will open up. Now, you tell me if it's not heavenly ambrosia to your taste buds. And it is.
Will Spanish needles make...
There's three types.
Yes, it will.
There's three types of Tupelo.
There's about 5.
Which one actually is the one?
White Tupelo.
Black and sour gum?
Black gum?
No, not black gum. White, not the black. Black sylvestra, okay? But it's the white that you want, Nisio Geechee. And on a note like that, we're up there in legislature trying to get this done. They're cutting down the Tupelo trees. It's on private land, so we have to go up there, and some of it's on state land, and we have to get the owner's permission and all like that to be up there. But private land, you do what you want to, and they're cutting it down for sawmill and for furniture. And it takes hundreds of years for them to get that big and all like that. And we're having a problem germinating some of the seeds. So that's the problems we're having right now that we're trying to correct through Florida State Beekeepers Association. Another good reason to belong to Florida State Beekeepers Association. All right. Now, I told you about the Cadillac of honey. There's another premium honey. There's 3 premium honeys. Okay. Tupelo is premium honey. And you know why, and you can explain to somebody else. Another premium honey is sourwood. Let's go to the Appalachian Mountains. Sourwood has got to be about 1,500 feet above mean sea level for it to bloom and have enough to make honey. We've got sourwood trees here in Florida. Well, North Florida anyway. Okay, but we don't have enough. It's got to be about 1,500 feet above mean sea level for it to be plentiful and make nectar. Okay, so my sourwood comes from North Georgia mountains. Okay, their honey, they do not make enough of it to ship all over the world. Now, if you go to Central or South Florida and you go to a tourist trap, what honey do you have? Orange blossom. Everywhere you go, it's orange blossom this, orange blossom, right? That's for the treesters, right? Okay. If you go up to Maggie Valley or any place up there, guess what their treesters get? Sourwood. That's all they have. That's where you get sourwood, and they sell it locally up there. You very seldom ever see it outside of up there because there's not enough of it. Okay, and I've got sourwood here. That's the second premium. Third premium is fireweed. That's the champagne of honey. Is fireweed. Comes from Alaska and the Cascade Mountains of Washington State. Okay, and I've got it. All right. In Alaska, that sells for $36 an ounce. I didn't believe it either. But an egg is what, $4 or $5 for an egg. I mean, you know. But anyway, that two premiums you'll see. Of course, Tupelo you'll see more than any place else like it. That's your premium honeys. And of course, you got chunk honey. This is chunk honey. Okay? There's comb honey and there's chunk honey. This is chunk honey.
What's the difference?
One's in liquid, one's not. You got a comb in a liquid, it's chunk honey. Comb not in a liquid is comb honey. Okay? And you can see what Tupelo looks like right there.
Roy,
Yes.
Excuse me, I believe you said Tupelo was one of the ones that does not crystallize.
Correct. Why doesn't? All right, we're getting technical now. All right. One of the things that makes the taste and all like that is the ratio of sugars. All honey has about 12 sugars in it, about 12 sugars in it. But there's two main sugars. Everything else down here, and there's two main sugars up here. Levulose and vertose, okay? It's the ratio of those sugars that determines how fast it crystallizes. Okay, and of course that can affect your taste also. So that's why that Tupelo don't crystallize, it's because of the ratio of the two sugars in there.
The salt palmetto crystallizes very easy.
If I extract cotton honey today, 2 weeks from now it's crystallized. In Hawaii, and I can't remember the name of the plant. I'm talking about the botanical name. Can't pronounce the other name either. They have a plant there, crystallizes in the comb, and they sell it as white honey. And it is $28 for a little ounce. And they sell it online. My son was over there, he's in the Marine Corps, and he was over at the Marine base, and ran across that. He told me, white honey. You know, I never heard of white honey. And I delved into it, and that's what it is. It crystallizes in the comb. Any other questions? Last chance. Going.